Hello and welcome to Guitar Fluence. I'm your guitar instructor, Miles, and today we're going to be talking about the 1-4-5 chord progression on guitar. Now, we're going to dive right into it. And so let's start by talking about what a 1-4-5 is. And a 1-4-5 is simply taking the root, the fourth, and the fifth chords of a diatonic major scale and playing them in a progression. That's usually what a 1-4-5 refers to. And in order to find the root, the fourth, and a fifth, you have to understand how a major scale formula works. So in order to understand that, let's use the C major scale. So, in the C major scale, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So that means our first note is C, which you can play at your 8th fret of your low E string. Our fourth note is F, and our fifth note is G. Now, here's the thing. When you stack notes in thirds, you start to create chords. And when you stack 3 notes, you'll create a triad. And you do this by stacking every other note in your major scale. So, in the C scale, we have C, E, and G to make the C, which results in a C major chord. Then when we go to the fourth, we get F, A, and C, which results in an F major chord. And then we go to G, and then we have G, B, and D, which results in a G major chord. So, what would our 1-4-5 be? Our 1-4-5 would be C major, and then an F major, and then a G major, and then resolve at C. Now, you can try this in the open position as well. C major, F major, G. Okay, so those are seriously the basics of a 1-4-5 progression and the theory behind it. Now, of course, if you don't know how to create a major scale, it's really simple. You just choose a root note, for example, a G, and you just move up whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and that's your major scale formula. And if you don't want to memorize the formula and you just want to remember where the major chords are and where the root, fourth, and fifth are, well, let me show you a really simple trick. So, if you take any note on the low E string, we'll use G for an example, you can go to the adjacent fret on the adjacent string, so that would be G, to C, and you'll have the fourth. And then you can go up 2 frets from the fourth, and you'll be at your fifth. And you can do this with any root note. So here we have G, C, and D, and that gives us our root, fourth, and fifth. Let's try it at A. We got our root, fourth, fifth, and at B, root, fourth, fifth, C sharp, root, fourth, fifth. And you can use your standard open chord cage shapes, just, transposed to be bar chords. And you can use them at each of these positions. So, for example, if you're going from E to A to B, B major is really just that open A chord transposed up a whole step. And, of course, this G major shape is just an E major shape transposed up 3 frets, minor third. Okay, so what you'd use is you'd use your E shape, and then your A shape, and then your A shape again. So that's one way to find your root, fourth, and fifth. You can also find a root, fourth, and fifth by going to a root note on the A string, let's say D. Now right above your D note, you'll get the fifth. And of course, a whole step away is your fourth. And that's obviously a whole step behind the fifth, because 4 is behind 5, right? So we have root, D, A, which is our fourth, and G, A, which is our fifth, and G, which is our fourth, which would give us, using the A shapes and the E shapes, D, A, G. So, anyways, that is all you need to know about the 1-4-5 chord progression. That's how you can find it on the low E and A strings, and that's how you can apply your open chord shapes to the 1-4-5 progression. And of course, work hard to understand the theory and practice in a bunch of different keys and using a bunch of different scales so that you can start to figure out how to incorporate and use the 1-4-5 progression on your own. It also helps to learn songs that use the 1-4-5 progression. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe, check out my website, guitarfluence.com, and rock on.